When you hear that someone is asking about your home address on 20 November, the mind immediately reacts with concern. But before you protect your physical space, you must understand the deeper meaning of space itself. The true home is not built with bricks, walls, or a door. The true home is the mind you carry, the emotions you allow, and the discipline you breathe into your daily life. On 20 November, let this awareness rise like a quiet flame inside you. A flame that shows you that any invasion of your outer world begins from the moment you stop guarding your inner world. And the one who protects his inner world can walk through the outer world without fear. Many people worry about their house, their location, their address, their belongings. But fewer look inward and ask, what thoughts am I allowing into my mental home? What emotions am I letting knock on my internal door? What habits am I letting sit inside my sacred space? If 20 November teaches anything, it is that the most dangerous intruders are often the ones we invite in without realizing. Doubt, fear, distraction, comparison, anger. These are the strangers that learn your patterns, discover your weaknesses, and slowly take control if you do not guard your inner space. Protecting your inner home means recognizing that your peace is the most valuable property you have. No one can physically walk into your mind unless you open the doors. No one can steal your calm unless you give them permission. On 20 November, imagine placing a lock on the gate of your inner world, a lock made of awareness. Awareness of who you listen to, awareness of what you consume, awareness of whose words you accept as truth. Awareness is the guard that stands silently but powerfully at the entrance of your inner life. When someone tries to learn your address, they are trying to know your location. But the world does this too. It tries to locate your weaknesses, your hesitations, your fears. If you react emotionally, you reveal your position. If you respond impulsively, you reveal your vulnerability. But when you stand centered, like a mountain on 20 November, nothing can shift you. The world may knock, the world may ask, the world may try, but you answer only with clarity, not with panic. Guarding your inner space requires discipline, not the discipline of force, but the discipline of choice, the discipline to choose what enters your mental home, the discipline to choose silence when chaos calls, the discipline to choose patience when pressure rises, the discipline to choose intention instead of reaction. On 20 November, let discipline be your shield. You do not need to fight the world. You only need to stop the world from settling inside you. Your mind is like a room. If you leave the door open, dust enters. If you leave it unattended, clutter grows. If you allow too many visitors, it loses its purity. But when you clean it daily, when you protect it consciously, when you keep only what serves your growth, it becomes a sacred place. A place that no stranger on the outside can disturb. This is the true meaning of guarding your space. On 20 November, not out of fear, but out of respect for your inner life. When you strengthen your inner boundaries, the outer boundaries reinforce themselves naturally. People sense your clarity. They feel your firmness. They recognize your presence. And those who intend harm lose their courage. It is the nature of strength. The more rooted you are inside, the more protected you become outside. A person who knows their inner address cannot be shaken by someone seeking their outer address. On 20 November, remind yourself that your energy is your first home. Protect it. Your peace is your first property. Guard it. Your focus is your first doorway. Do not leave it open. The one who learns to protect these internal spaces becomes untouchable, not because they build higher walls, but because they build deeper roots. Think of how you respect your physical home. You lock the door, you close the windows, you decide who enters, you remove those who bring disorder. Apply the same discipline to your inner space. Do not let opinions break your windows. Do not let negativity walk through your halls. Do not let fear roam freely inside your rooms. On 20 November, act like the guardian of your inner house, standing firm, quiet, and fully present. This is the teaching of self-growth, to understand that real safety begins inside you. Real protection is internal clarity. Real strength is the refusal to let the world build its home within your mind. You cannot control who asks about your physical address, but you can completely control who enters your inner life. And when that mastery rises within you on 20 November, you will discover a new form of freedom. A freedom that keeps you strong, calm, and untouchable. This is how you guard your inner space before your outer space. Awareness is the first line of defense. And on 20 November, this truth becomes impossible to ignore. When someone is asking about your home address, the mind immediately jumps to action. But the real threat is not the question, it is your level of awareness in the moment you receive it. Awareness is the shield that protects you long before anything reaches your doorstep. Awareness is the light that exposes intentions, energy, and direction. On 20 November, let this light shine brighter inside you. Awareness means you do not move blindly. You do not react unconsciously. You do not allow yourself to be led by assumptions or emotions. You see clearly, and when you see clearly, nothing and no one can mislead you. Many people think danger begins when a person arrives at their home. But danger begins much earlier. Danger begins when you stop paying attention. On 20 November, awareness becomes the reminder that your life is shaped not by what happens, but by what you notice. To live without awareness is to walk through your days with open doors and unguarded windows. Anyone can enter, anything can influence you, any intention can pull you. But when you cultivate awareness, you become the silent observer who notices every movement of the mind, every shift of energy, every subtle sign the world sends you. This noticing is not dramatic. It is not loud, it is steady, it is constant, it is powerful, and it protects you even when you are unaware of the danger outside. On 20 November, let awareness sharpen like a blade that cuts through illusions, a blade that separates truth from deception, a blade that helps you understand the difference between real threat and imagined fear. Without awareness, the mind panics, overreacts, and exposes your vulnerability. With awareness, the mind becomes clear, centered, and grounded. You act from a place of understanding instead of fear. Awareness means watching your own mind as if it is a landscape. Every thought is a cloud. Every emotion is a wave. Every intention is a seed. If you do not watch the landscape, storms rise without warning. But when you observe it daily, patiently, honestly, you can sense the change in the wind before the storm arrives. This is what 20 November teaches. Awareness prevents chaos before chaos begins. When someone is seeking your private details, you must not respond from confusion. You must respond from clarity. Awareness gives you that clarity. It allows you to detect the tone, the intention, the energy behind every question. You can sense the difference between curiosity and intrusion, help and harm, neutrality and manipulation. On 20 November, awareness becomes the guardian that stands behind your silence, guiding you toward the right action. Awareness is self-protection at its highest level. It does not require aggression. It does not require fear. It requires presence. Presence means you are fully here, fully awake, fully connected to what is happening in front of you. When you are present, nothing enters your life unnoticed. Nothing escapes your attention. Nothing takes you by surprise. This presence is not given by chance. It is created by practice. On 20 November, make presence your daily discipline. Awareness also means understanding yourself, your triggers, your weaknesses, your strengths, your instincts. If you do not know these things, others will discover them faster than you. Then they hold the keys to your reactions. But when you know yourself deeply, no one can manipulate your emotional state. No one can pull you out of balance. No one can use your unconsciousness against you. Awareness of self becomes the strongest defense for your outer life. On 20 November, let your awareness expand outward as well. Notice the environment. Notice the patterns. Notice the behavior of people. Notice what feels aligned and what feels off. The body always sends signals. The intuition always whispers. But most people ignore these signals because they rush, they worry, they overthink. Slow down, breathe, sense. Awareness requires stillness. Stillness reveals everything. Awareness is not paranoia, it is not suspicion, it is clarity, it is understanding, it is the calm knowing that comes from being fully alive in the moment. When you live with this awareness, you do not need to fear anyone asking about your address on 20 November, because you already sense their intention long before they speak. You already understand the situation long before it unfolds. You already prepare yourself long before anything reaches your door. This type of awareness transforms your life. It makes you stronger, wiser, sharper. It removes the need for unnecessary conflict. It keeps your mind open but protected, your energy soft but guarded, your presence calm but alert. On 20 November, awareness becomes the silent strength that surrounds you like an invisible shield. When you commit to living with awareness, you are no longer easy to deceive, no longer easy to disturb, no longer easy to influence. You become the kind of person who moves through the world with steady steps and open eyes, the kind of person who sees beyond words and understands beyond actions, the kind of person who protects themselves not through fear but through clarity. This is the power of awareness. On 20 November, your first line of defense, your strongest form of protection, and your greatest tool for self-growth. Privacy is not just about information. Privacy is protection of direction, protection of purpose, and protection of the path you are building within yourself. On 20 November, when someone asks about your home address, it becomes a reminder that what you reveal, what you share, and what you open to the world must always be intentional. Your privacy is a part of your strength, and your strength must not be handed out carelessly. On 20 November, let this truth settle deeply within you. The things you guard define the things you value. Your purpose is shaped by focus, and focus is shaped by boundaries. Without boundaries, your purpose becomes scattered. Without boundaries, your progress becomes fragile. Without boundaries, your energy drains into places that do not deserve it. This is why privacy is essential, not because you fear others, but because you respect yourself. On 20 November, understand that your privacy is like the roots of a tree, hidden, protected, and deeply important. No tree survives when its roots are exposed. No person grows when their inner intentions are left vulnerable. Your personal details, your habits, your routines, and your weaknesses are like keys. Whoever holds them holds access to your life. If you give these keys without awareness, you open the door for unwanted influence. On 20 November, let this be clear. You must decide who deserves to know your steps, your plans, your direction. Not everyone who asks has good intentions. Not everyone who smiles carries good energy. Not everyone who listens should hear your inner truth. Protecting your privacy is protecting your path. The world today is loud. People want information quickly. They ask questions, they search, they try to enter your life without earning that right. This is why you must become the guardian of your own story. On 20 November, treat every detail you share as something sacred. Ask yourself, does this add to my growth? Does this serve my purpose? Does this strengthen me or expose me? When you learn to answer these questions silently within yourself, you become stronger than any external threat. There is a difference between being open and being exposed. Being open is a choice. Being exposed is a weakness. Protecting your privacy means choosing wisely what you reveal. On 20 November, let your openness be controlled, purposeful, balanced. When you become too open, you give others the ability to predict your steps. When others can predict your steps, they can control your path. But when you protect your privacy, you protect your freedom. Your purpose needs silence. Silence gives clarity. Silence gives strength. Silence gives direction. When you keep certain things to yourself, you give your goals the space to grow. On 20 November, practice the strength of quiet intention. Not everything deserves to be spoken. Not every plan deserves to be shared. Growth happens in silence before it becomes visible to the world. A seed grows in darkness before it rises to the light. Your purpose is the same. Many people lose their direction not because they lack talent, but because they lack boundaries. They share too much, too soon, with people who do not deserve access. They reveal their weaknesses and wonder why the world uses them. They reveal their dreams and wonder why others disturb them. On 20 November, learn the discipline of protecting what matters. The more valuable something is, the more carefully it must be guarded. Your privacy is a reflection of your inner discipline. A disciplined person does not leak energy. They do not announce every move. They do not seek validation through sharing. They know their worth, and because they know their worth, they protect it. On 20 November, let your discipline rise. Let it become the shield around your purpose. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. You do not need to justify your path. You do not need to open every door. When someone seeks your personal information, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you learn something important. Awareness and privacy are deeply connected. You protect your privacy through awareness. You protect your purpose through boundaries. You protect your growth through discipline. On 20 November, let these three forces work together inside you. When they align, you become unshakable. Privacy is not secrecy, it is wisdom. It is the wisdom of knowing what to keep inside and what to release. It is the wisdom of understanding that your life is not public property. It is the wisdom of protecting your peace. On 20 November, let this wisdom become part of your character. When you guard your privacy, you become stronger. When you protect your purpose, you become focused. When you limit access, you grow faster. On 20 November, remind yourself that your inner world is not meant for everyone. Only those who respect your boundaries should be allowed near. Only those who carry good intention should hear your truth. Only those who honor your energy should enter your space. This is the power of protecting your privacy, not out of fear, but out of deep respect for your own journey. Strength is often misunderstood. Many believe strength comes from reacting fast, from defending loudly, from pushing back against anything that feels threatening. But real strength is not born from fear. Real strength is born from discipline. And on 20 November, this truth stands in front of you with clarity so sharp that you cannot ignore it. When someone asks about your home address, fear may arise, but fear is not your guide. Discipline is. Discipline is the force that keeps you steady, calm, and untouchable. Fear confuses the mind. Fear exaggerates the situation. Fear creates stories that do not exist. When you move from fear, you lose control. But when you move from discipline, every step becomes intentional. On 20 November, you must understand this deeply. Fear weakens you long before anything external reaches your life. Fear exposes your uncertainty. Fear opens the door to chaos, but discipline fortifies your inner world. It builds a structure inside you that cannot be shaken by external noise. Discipline is not about rigidity. It is not about forcing yourself. Discipline is choosing the right action even when you do not feel like it. Discipline is responding instead of reacting. Discipline is holding your ground when fear tries to push you off balance. On 20 November, let discipline be your anchor. When the world tries to pull you into chaos, discipline keeps you rooted. When others try to provoke you, discipline holds your silence. When fear knocks, discipline answers with clarity. Strength comes from discipline because discipline creates consistency. Consistency creates stability. Stability creates power. When you are consistent with your thoughts, consistent with your emotions, consistent with your actions, you become someone who cannot be easily disturbed. On 20 November, notice how your energy shifts when you act from discipline instead of panic. Your breath deepens, your decisions sharpen, your presence becomes solid. Discipline is also protection. It protects your emotions from unnecessary turmoil. It protects your mind from illusions. It protects your energy from careless interactions. Often, situations become dangerous not because of what happens, but because of how we react. On 20 November, remember that the first thing to protect is your inner stability. When your stability is firm, no external question, no external person, no external event can break you. Fear is loud, discipline is quiet. Fear shakes your hands, discipline steadies them. Fear blinds you with possibilities. Discipline opens your eyes to truth. This is why strength cannot come from fear. Fear removes your clarity, but discipline sharpens it. On 20 November, treat discipline as your internal bodyguard, standing inside you, guiding your choices without needing to make a sound. Think of a river. When the water flows wildly, it destroys everything in its path. But when the flow is controlled, when the direction is clear, that same water becomes powerful enough to generate energy, to carve mountains, to shape landscapes. Your mind is that river. Fear makes it uncontrolled. Discipline channels its power. On 20 November, let your inner river flow with direction, not chaos. Strength also means being able to pause. A pause is not weakness. A pause is a moment of mastery. A pause is where discipline speaks louder than fear. Most people react instantly. They allow emotions to lead. They allow panic to decide. But a disciplined person pauses, observes, breathes, and then acts. On 20 November, let your pause be your power. The pause shows that you are not controlled by fear. You control yourself. When someone seeks personal information, discipline helps you answer wisely, not rushed, not emotionally, but with clarity. You do not need to disclose anything impulsively. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You simply stand firm. Discipline gives you the strength to be unshakable, even when pressure rises. On 20 November, this strength is your protection. There is also discipline in maintaining your inner peace. Peace does not come naturally. Peace must be chosen repeatedly. The world will challenge it, people will disturb it, situations will test it, but discipline restores it every time. On 20 November, strengthen the discipline of returning to calmness. Calmness is a weapon. Calmness is clarity. Calmness is the form of strength that never needs to shout. Your growth depends on discipline because growth requires repetition. Growth requires stability. Growth requires the courage to continue even when fear tries to stop you. On 20 November, choose the path of disciplined growth. Fear may push you backward, but discipline moves you forward. Discipline creates the steps that lead you out of confusion and into mastery. Strength that comes from fear will collapse. Strength that comes from discipline will endure. When your strength is built on discipline, it cannot be taken away by someone asking a question, someone testing your boundaries, or someone trying to shake your security. On 20 November, let your strength rise from a place that is deep, stable, and unbreakable. This is the strength that defines your character. This is the strength that protects your life. This is the strength that keeps your mind clear. It comes not from fear, but from the discipline you practice every single day. Your space is sacred, and on 20 November, this truth becomes even clearer. When someone asks about your home address, it is not only a question about location. It is a reminder that your life, your energy, your peace, and your inner world must not be open to every person who walks by. Your space is not something to be shared casually. It is not something to be exposed carelessly. Your space must be honored, respected, and protected because it holds the essence of who you are becoming. On 20 November, let yourself recognize the value of your space, not just the walls around you, but the world within you. The physical home you live in is only a reflection of your inner home. If you allow chaos into your mind, your outer world becomes chaotic. If you allow negativity into your emotions, your outer space becomes heavy. If you allow uninvited people into your life, your peace begins to weaken. Your space is sacred because it influences your growth, your clarity, and your direction. Many people underestimate the importance of space. They let anyone enter their mind, anyone influence their emotions, anyone distract their purpose. But on 20 November, you must understand that sacred things lose their power when exposed to the wrong environment. A sacred place loses its presence when overcrowded. A sacred mind loses its strength when interrupted. A sacred heart loses its purity when given to those who cannot value it. Protecting your space is an act of self-respect. Your home, whether internal or external, is a sanctuary. A sanctuary cannot remain strong if you allow every voice, every emotion, every distraction, every intention to walk in freely. You must set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls of fear. Boundaries are gates of wisdom. They do not close you off. They keep your sacred space clean, focused, and aligned. On 20 November, strengthen your boundaries with confidence. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone earns entry. Not everyone carries the energy that your sacred space requires. When you treat your space as sacred, you move differently. You choose differently. You speak differently. You listen differently. You no longer allow chaos to sit at your table. You no longer allow negativity to sleep in your mind. You no longer allow distractions to borrow your time. On 20 November, let your actions reflect the respect you have for your inner sanctuary. Your peace is not cheap. Your energy is not free. Your time is not for everyone. Your inner space is where your thoughts grow. It is where your emotions settle. It is where your purpose breathes. If this space becomes polluted, everything within you becomes unclear. But when your space is clean, calm, and protected, your growth accelerates. You begin to think sharply. You begin to feel deeply. You begin to act wisely. This is why your space is sacred, because it shapes the quality of your life. On 20 November, guard this space with intention. Even the strongest individuals collapse when they fail to protect their sacred space. You cannot grow if you are constantly drained. You cannot rise if you are constantly distracted. You cannot build if you are constantly disturbed. But once you honor your sacred space, you regain your strength. You regain your clarity. You regain your power. On 20 November, let this reminder echo within you. Your strength depends on the space you protect. Treat your inner world as you would treat a meditation hall. You remove your shoes before entering. You lower your voice. You bring respect, presence, and awareness. Imagine if you treated your mind with the same discipline. Imagine if you treated your emotions with the same gentleness. Imagine if you treated your purpose with the same devotion. On 20 November, make your inner space a place of silence, of growth, of transformation. Your sacred space must be honored by you first. You teach others how to treat your space by how you treat it yourself. If you do not respect your boundaries, others will cross them. If you do not value your peace, others will disturb it. If you do not protect your growth, others will delay it. On 20 November, reclaim the authority of your sacred space. You are the guardian. You are the protector. You are the one who decides what enters and what leaves. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You do not need to explain your silence. You do not need to apologize for protecting your peace. When something is sacred, explanation becomes unnecessary. On 20 November, let your actions show that you understand the value of your space. Step back from what drains you. Step away from what confuses you. Step out of what weakens you. And step into the life that honors your growth. Your space is sacred because you are sacred. Your journey is sacred. Your evolution is sacred. When you protect your space, you protect your future. When you guard your peace, you honor your path. When you respect your boundaries, you rise without noise, without force, and without fear. On 20 November, let this understanding become a new foundation within you. This is how you honor your sacred space with awareness, discipline, and deep respect for your own becoming.